Good evening, everybody. Baxter Cribbs here with you once again this evening as I continue on my journey also, and with so many others that are in our field, a collection of people. We are doing a 90-day live video challenge. I don't even know what day it is, but anyway, this evening I want to talk to you about a particular subject I believe in our life, our journey here upon this earth, there are three things that we need that helps us to have an enjoyable life as we travel through. One is we need our spirituality. Number two is we need our health. And number three, we need our wealth. Now, whatever those things mean to you, and different people have different degrees of each of those. But this evening, and I've spoken of the other things, as long as I've went through these here things and other times as well, spirituality, health, and wealth. And if you'd like to learn more about what I think in spirituality, there is another Facebook page that I am on called Church of Christ, and you'll see my picture there as you go over there. But this evening here, I'm here to talk to you today about our health, about your health. And what I want to talk about is that there is something out there that affects each and every one of us every day of our life. We all have it involved in our life, and that one item is called stress. Now, stress can be and is a very powerful thing, can bring a lot of damage to our life. Years ago, whenever I used to cut hair, I had a guy that come in and was only 53 years old, told me he had to retire early because his stress in his life has caused him to have a heart attack. And he gave me the explanations that the doctors gave him. And this has been, 10 years ago or more whenever I was doing that. Actually, it would be longer than that because I've been at the present job I'm at for 13 years. So a good while ago. And so they didn't understand much of what I'm going to share with you this evening. And what I want to talk about is how stress, whenever it does affect our life, what it does, and we have a lot of it and it's not controlled, is it raises the hormone in our body called cortisol. C-O-R-T-I-S-O-L. Cortisol. Now, this is a good product in our body, a good hormone. It has a job it's supposed to do when it's in balance with the rest of the stuff in our life. When it's out of balance, it can do some pretty destructive stuff. And I've read many articles on this. The one I was happened to be reading today that I wanted to share some facts with you from is some things how you can tell when your cortisol might be too high. And this comes from a Dr. Lisa, it's L-I-S-S-A, I believe that's pronounced correctly, Rankin. And in her article, she shared 10 things that you could tell that your cortisol may be too high. I want to give you my take tonight on just 5 of those things and paraphrasing them real quick because you don't want to be on here very long. It is indeed Saturday night. Many people have other things to do. Resting is one of them. But this is an important thing to have and to check in your life to see if you have, because it does indeed affect a lot of people. Now, so the first thing that she talks about is that if you experience a lot of backaches and a lot of headaches, in other words, when your cortisol levels are way too high, that it makes your body oversensitive to the normal everyday aches and pains that you might have. When you pick up this or you pick up that or bend over here, that you have a little pain or ache and you don't really notice it, excuse me, unless your cortisol is too high. There are many times when it's too high that the slightest twinge in the brain can cause you to have a headache all of a sudden. Out of nowhere, you just got a headache. Wow. When we think about it, why did I get a headache like that? And it's because that you have this issue. Your cortisol is way too high, and what it does is it drains your adrenaline glands so they can't do their work, and you become overly sensitive to these pains, and your body responds in kind to that. So that's the first way, is that we can tell is if you're really sensitive to body aches, or you have a bunch of them and you get headaches quite often. The number 2 thing she said is that you don't sleep well. I know a lot of people like this, and they're related to other issues in their life and whatever may go on, and sometimes it may be because of other issues. I'm just saying, examine yourself, because this very well could be part of that. If you do not sleep well, it could cause that. Because, see, the normal function of the body is for your cortisol levels to lower themselves at nighttime. One reason why nighttime is supposed to be when you sleep. The body is designed to sleep at night. And so if it is designed to lower, so you can relax yourself, so you can become refreshed as you're sleeping and regenerate through the sleeping night, and you wake up the next day all ready to go. Well, when you don't get that sleep, or really what happens is that when your cortisol levels are too high, you are all day long, you're tired, and you go, I'm wore out, I'm going to go to bed, lie down, and before you go to bed, all of a sudden, you get this sudden burst of energy that jumps up here, and now you lay down, you're trying to go to sleep because you're tired, you can't go to sleep, you start tossing and turning, and you wake up tired again, and the cycle starts over once again because your cortisol levels are too high, or very well could be. I'm saying examine that. The third thing that she said is that even when you do sleep well, that you are so fortunate and lucky, oh, I got in a good night's sleep last night, and you wake up and you're still tired. You go all day and you're just wore out, even though you had that good night's rest. And again, it's because your adrenaline glands have been depleted. They can't do their job, and so it sets you up, puts your body in position then to have or to get what is now being called chronic fatigue. You're just flat wore out. Your body is not responding doing the way it should be because a hormone is out of balance. It's way too high, and you feel like, I just can't go on, I can't do this, I am just wore out. And there are many people I know that are like this. Number 4 is you are gaining weight. Now, and we're not just talking about any weight here. We're talking about belly weight. Works that it comes onto your belly, which is really the worst place you can gain fat, because then it starts to affect your other organs. It starts to affect your image of yourself. It starts to affect the way you work, and all kinds of things. Now, and you can actually work your butt off, literally, doing exercises and eating right, doing all those things that you should do. If your cortisol levels are too high, it will place fat on your belly. It will put it there, plain and simple. So that's the 4th reason that we should get it down. The 5th reason is that you catch every little bug that comes along. Every little cold, little flu, virus, whatever it might be. You know, I mean, every time you shake somebody's hand at church or at work or in the office, every time you hug your boyfriend, girlfriend, your husband, wife, and you take a baby that somebody says, here, check out my child. You know, and we do that because we love children and we want to handle them. And you go to school over here and you pick up your child and they've been around, somebody's sick. And you go, you know what we say whenever all of a sudden we are sick? You know what we say? You made me sick. When in reality, most likely it is not them. Oh, sure, they had the bug. Sure they were carrying it. But if our immune system is high enough and in the position it ought to be, then we wouldn't get sick, or not as often anyway. Because see, what happens when your cortisol levels are too high, it shuts down your immune defenses, and there you are vulnerable. Anything can just come in and take you over. And that's exactly what happens to us. We are too weak from that. And my friends, this high stress that causes cortisol to come into your life is robbing you of the life you could have, a much, much better life, if you can get that cortisol level down under control, where it can do its work, your adrenaline glands can do its work, your immune system can do its work, you can have a much better life. Now, there's a lot of things that we can do to control that, and I'll share some of those in another video. There is a product out there, however, that I have found that can help you out, or has helped, I should say, 80% of the people I've shared this with, in 3 to 6 days, they have seen great results in bringing their cortisol level down, where they can begin to function and to work like normal people do that do not have this high cortisol. If you'd like to see some of those people's testimonies, you can scroll down through this page. There's a couple of them down there where one lady brought her sugar down from 380 to down to 150, and she's still working on getting it down lower. Another one, clarity of mind, energy. Look through those things, because, and everybody I've shared that with have found results getting it from it just 3 to 6 days. My friends, if I can help you to get a free sample, which is available, a 3-day sample, then either comment below or send me a message, and I will get back in contact with you, and we'll see if it's going to be a fit for you. Because I want you to try it out, because this really messes up a lot of people. And that's what I'm about, is to help people in these 3 areas: your spirituality, your health, and your wealth. And your health is something, if you don't have that, you can't enjoy the other 2 parts of your life. Now, you have to have all 3. But that's there. Look at your life. Look and see if these symptoms are there. It very well could be your cortisol levels are way too high. My friends, if you found this valuable this evening, I hope that you leave a comment below and let me know that it has been, that you're going to at least look at your life and say, okay, this possibly is that. Or you'll share it with somebody that you know have these symptoms, because many, many people, we are in a high stress nation today, and our lives are pushed and run together, and we're just frantic. My friends, cortisol could be out of control in your life, and it will rob you. It will continue to destroy your life if you do not correct it. My friends, this is it for this evening. Examine these things, see if there's something in your life that needs to be corrected, and I will see you tomorrow as we continue upon this subject. Thank you, and have a good evening.